Chevrolet, Randy Marion Ford in Statesville.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Hello and welcome to Word Just Saying on WSIC 105.9 FM, 100.9 FM, and 1400 AM. This is Larry Shaheen coming to you live in studio here. If you can see me on the video, you're seeing a very bright pink pullover here from the Ocean Course at Kiwa. Yeah, I'm sorry for your eyes. You're just going to have to get over it. Guest hosting today in for the Senator. Vicky Sawyer is otherwise engaged. God bless her. She's in the middle of doing God Lord's work up at the legislature, so she asked me to step in. We will see what we can do with this and try to give you some good information and some good entertainment this morning. I guess, what is it called? Newstainment? Is that what the technical term is here? I'm looking at my producer. So for everyone here in the Mooresville, Statesville, Iredell County, Cornelius, Huntersville, Davidson area, I apologize in advance that you're stuck with me. I'm real sorry. It just is what it is. You're going to get my straight opinions. You're going to get everything that I think it is, the way it should be, and I'm going to try and tell you straight and see if I can get you some good stuff. Oh, that's scary. Oh, there it is. That's exactly the sound that we need. So I thought today we'd start off with something that's some good news that we've got coming out of Raleigh. It was a huge deal here today. We had an agreement between the North Carolina House and the North Carolina Senate on being able to pull back and do some work on masking. So for those of you who are not aware of the history on this topic, North Carolina during COVID had relaxed a law that was one of the few laws that was put in. Actually, it was put in back in the early 1900s to combat the KKK, and the law was to prevent masking in all of North Carolina. You couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't do anything, you couldn't have masks. And what happened during COVID was there was a change that allowed people to be able to wear masks for health reasons. And of course, during COVID, as we now know from Dr. Fauci, that a vast majority of everything that he did was made up. Shocking to everyone on this program, I know, as he is just clearly the most competent of individuals, given that not a darn thing he told us was right. But now we're in a situation where we're trying to roll back some of these ridiculous COVID restrictions, and one of them is the mask mandate. And the mask mandate was gone. Thank God we got Governor Cooper to see the light. I mean, I know he loves killing business and destroying every single one of our personal property, but I mean, that we're just glad he's gone. Eventually, he'll be gone here at the end of the year. Maybe we won't have to deal with his successor, Roy Jr. here with Josh Stein. But I mean, if we can get to a place here in North Carolina where we don't have our governors trying to kill business, we'll be in a great place. But ultimately, if you're dealing with the legislature came back and said, look, we think you can still be able to wear masks to prevent transmissible diseases. But the issue here is that we've got, and I'm from Charlotte, right? I'm from the great state of Mecklenburg. I know the rest of the state hates us. We've got everything. We're the best. But, it's just jealousy as far as I'm concerned there. But, I mean, we do have problems here. We have serious problems, just like every other urban center and urban community. One of those serious problems is the fact that we've got kids running around, 18, 17, 16-year-old kids working for gangs, wearing masks, robbing people, breaking into stores, causing all kinds of violence. Can't identify them. And it's causing a situation where we can no longer continue to have that because public safety is important. So ultimately, in this specific instance, thank God for the General Assembly being able to come back in and pass a bill that's going to be able to make it so that we are going to be able to identify those perpetrators and be able to keep people who are rioting. The liberals call that protesting. It's not really protesting when you're sitting there smashing the glass in of a local business owner who at that point probably didn't really have the ability to say, hey, please don't do that to me. But, it is what it is. I mean, to a certain extent, you've got the liberals out there screaming about their want to be able to go out masked, but the bill as it is isn't going to keep them from being able to do that. If they want to go out and they want to stay masked for health reasons, they're going to do that. I don't think police are going to sit there and stop people on this. That's the part that drives me the most nuts, is that we had this law for years and years and years and nobody did anything about it. Now all of a sudden it's a huge deal. It's not. The Democrats, again, are just trying to protect their criminals. We get it. We love it. We know you love criminals, Democrats. You want to make sure that they don't get arrested. You want to get them out of jail as quick as possible, except that they're President Trump. We know that that's the one person that you want in jail. If there's one person we know that you want in jail, it's President Trump. But for everybody else, it's okay. They can all get out. But Democrats, I'm going to tell you something. The law is the law. It applies to everybody. It is what it is. And we need to be able to get those folks unmasked. So thank goodness, again, for the General Assembly for being able to get that bill through. Now, inside that bill, of course, the Democrats would tell you, oh my goodness, there's some electoral reform. there's some campaign finance reform. And, of course, it's funny to me. The hypocrisy of most of our Democrats, the absolute rank hypocrisy that comes from most of our Democrats, because they're sitting there standing up, walking out of the chamber. They're talking about how, this is in the dead of the night. There's a conference report that has changes in it. Oh, my God, like that never happened before. Oh, no, there's a conference report, and it's got something new in it. Oh, my God. But, of course, they're sitting there talking about campaign finance. And in that campaign finance reform, it's actually a very easy fix because, the Democratic Board of Elections had allowed years and years and years of Democrats to be able to bring in national money and bring in unlimited individual contributions. Now, hold on. I think the Republicans, they're just trying to make it so that both sides play fair. Wait a minute. If I remember correctly, didn't Michael Bloomberg give $1 million to the Democratic Party in 2022? That's right. That's right, he did. So, if you're concerned about unlimited individual contributions coming to the state of North Carolina, why aren't you turning down Mr. Bloomberg's money? Or why aren't you sitting here saying that you don't want to do that? Because, again, Democrats don't care about the law. They don't care about the law being applied fairly. They want the law applied in their situation only, and only for their people. But everybody else who disagrees with them, they get the short end of the stick. So it's just one of those situations where you're sitting here and you're talking about, oh my gosh, this is just absolutely insane. We're having this conversation. But it shouldn't be surprising to everybody because, again, these are good people. The Democrats, a lot of them are very good friends. We have lots of things to say nice about all of them. But, again, it's that concept where they're furthest left. I don't even blame them. I don't even blame the senators. I don't even blame the House members. It's the furthest left 5% of the communists that exist within the Democratic Party and vote for them on a regular basis in their primaries are the ones that create this problem. But here's the message that I think ultimately our General Assembly members, the leaders of our state, leaders of our country are going to be sending come November. Your days are numbered. You cannot apply socialism and communism in this country, and we've seen it. We have seen it in the numbers in terms of our economy. We have seen it in terms of how the inflation has hit our country. I think at this point, the last poll I saw was that there is a 56% regret rate among moderate voters who voted for President Biden. Think about that. 50 to 55% of those who voted for him who are swing voters are regretting their decisions. And it's not hard to see why. It's impossible to be able to buy a home that's affordable if you're anywhere in the age of 25 to 40. It's impossible to be able to afford groceries. It's impossible to raise a family. Oh, and by the way, don't even think about raising a family in the traditional manner, because if you don't accept their LGBTQIA plus or whatever the heck it's being called by today agenda, you may not even get to keep your kids. It's just absolutely insane to me that we're sitting here having this conversation, and the horror from New York and Los Angeles that the Democrats might lose is just, they don't seem to understand this isn't about President Trump. This isn't about anything. Returning to the original start of the topic of conversation, it's about masks. It's about going back to the common sense ways in which this country was run before they took over in 2020. If you're against that, I just don't know what you're for, because it just seems to me that we were all having a much better time back from 2016 to 2020, and COVID was a problem. But my goodness, we got to get back to normal work here. We got to get back to producing. We got to get back to having businesses the way it is, and we have to let businesses compete. Inflation is a product of what's gone on with President Biden, and thank God the General Assembly is pushing back on some of these old restrictions, and thank God we've got a Republican General Assembly to protect us from some of these awful policies in Washington. Well, when we return, we're going to take into commercial break, but we're going to talk about the Panthers' new stadium proposal. We're going to sit here and talk about how that works and how potentially it may affect you. Come on back. Thank you very much. Larry Shaheen here, WSIC.
Stay with us. We'll have more of We're Just Saying with NC Senator Vicki Sawyer after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, how about some quiet weather to finish off the work week and start the weekend? Mostly sunny. We're still warm with high temperatures in the mid-80s today, but it's feeling better. You'll be able to notice that difference when you step outside. That low humidity is arriving and really makes all the difference. Under a clear sky tonight, low humidity helps us fall off into the low 60s to kick off the weekend for your Saturday. Mostly sunny and warm. It feels good outside. Plenty of sunshine. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Serenity Now Massage Therapy.
Here Here's your WSIC community calendar. The Ben Gatlin Band performs 2 local shows beginning Thursday with Langtree Live in Mooresville on June 6th. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with the concert beginning at 7. Gatlin then offers a solo show Friday on the Birkdale Village stage with the Live Under the Oaks concert series. Back-to-back free music with Ben Gatlin beginning on Thursday at Langtree in Mooresville and then Friday at Birkdale Village in Huntersville. The popular Piedmont Healthcare Friday After 5 concert series offers free entertainment this week in Statesville. 80s tribute band Kids in America performs at 6 p.m. on West Broad Street in front of Mitchell Community College. Food and beverages will be available for purchase at 5. Bring your chairs and enjoy a night of music this Friday in downtown Statesville. The 3rd annual Dock and Rock Music Festival returns on Saturday at Waterside Bar and Grill in Catawba. Performances by Ryan Joyce, Danny Carr, Red Dirt Revelators, the Presley Layton Band, Alec Ottaway, and Feathered Roots begin at 4 p.m. on the stage and concert system powered by Waves Entertainment. We'll see you Saturday at Waterside Bar and Grill in Catawba. The Kane Center for the Arts Week 1 of summer camps begins Monday, June 10th. Morning and afternoon camps for ages 8 to 15 include ceramics, art, media, Broadway, and paint. For more information on summer camp programs, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series is back at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 10-week series opening night race is on Monday, June 10th, and night 2 following on Tuesday, June 11th. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets, details, and information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Now back to We're Just Saying with North Carolina Senator Vicky Sawyer on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
And welcome back to We're Just Saying on WSIC 105.9 FM, 100.9 FM, 1400 AM. The studio phone number is 844-STUDIO-4, streaming live on the WSIC app. Now, of course, you can always stream live or past episodes of We're Just Saying with Senator Vicky Sawyer of your favorite shows, as well as receive deals and special offers from your local business favorites within our Lake Norman community. Download the WSIC News app today, available on your iPhone and Google Play. WSIC Local starts here. Thank you all so much, very much for joining us today. Of course, I am not Senator Vicky Sawyer. Guest host Larry Shaheen, local attorney, political commentator, malcontent and trouble stir. The pot is large, and I do like to stir it. It is what it is, and of course, everybody's stuck with my opinions today. You are welcome to them. But earlier today, we started out with the concept of masks and how that's going to help us. Hopefully, we'll see less masks at sports facilities, which, of course, for those of you who don't know, if you are living under a rock or if you're not aware of what's happening here in Charlotte and the greater Mecklenburg region, the Panthers and the city of Charlotte staff have agreed in concept to a deal. Almost $1 billion plus going into that stadium, half of which looks like it's coming from the city. Oh, man, you can hear it. You can hear the cha-ching. You can hear the cha-ching, not just in their minds, but also in the minds of our local businesses, because goodness knows that stadium produces quite a bit of economic development revenue for lots of folks here locally. But we got $1 billion plus of improvements over the course of the next couple of years. Looks like about $680 million of that's going to come from the hospitality funds. Now, let's back up and make sure that we set the table, because for a lot of folks on the show, I know that there's always this concept that, taxpayer money for stadiums. You're right. I agree. We shouldn't use taxpayer money for stadiums. Property taxes should never be used to finance the operations of a sports team or the locations of a sports team. But that's not what's being used here. And I'm gonna make sure that we set some information straight on this. When you're talking about projects like what the Panthers are talking about, and of course I'm not going to go into all the different details on what the proposal looks like, all the huge improvements, everything like that. I'm going to let the City Council of Charlotte's going to have that decision with Mr. Tepper and his team, who, by the way, are some of the best in the business. But, of course, understandable the history there, that they've got to make sure the deal's tight. Good for them. That's exactly what they need to do. That's why they're elected. But it's important to note a couple of things. First and foremost, not a single dollar of property tax will be used on this project. Not one. Any general fund revenue that's used for police, fire, and any other city services won't even be touched on this. In addition, the revenue that's going to be used to help fund this are specific hospitality fund dollars. Those hospitality fund dollars are a result of a negotiated deal up at the General Assembly that was done by the Panthers, the Charlotte hospitality industry, and the city of Charlotte. And the goal there was to extend a meals tax. Now, that meals tax is a tax that's paid for by everyone who comes into Charlotte. If you look at your receipt, you see a meals tax there. So the restaurants actually pay that tax, and the hotels. And so the funds of that tax have been designated specifically by statute. Thank God again for the General Assembly. The funds has been specifically designated by statute to be able to be used only for hospitality projects. And why is that? Well, it's because they're not really a tax. What they are is an investment. Our community and our hospitality community has decided, and the hospitality industry has a fantastic lobbying group, both in North Carolina and in the city of Charlotte. North Carolina is led by Lynn Minges up at the North Carolina Restaurant Lodging Association. They have a fabulous lobbying team, if I may say so myself. And then also North Carolina, here in Charlotte, you have the Charlotte Hospitality and Tourism Alliance, led by Mohammed Janatian with a wonderful board. Full disclosure, I'm on that board. When you're talking about a local business community deciding to tax themselves and use the proceeds of that tax as an investment to help create more opportunities to grow that industry, this is no different than what any other business does in terms of how it funds its operations moving forward. Charlotte doesn't have a beach. There's a lake, but there's not that many big parcels by the lake. So other than a lake and the river, Charlotte, which has become a vibrant hospitality destination, has only become that way because of a couple of different things. The first is, of course, the airport. The second is the convention center. And, of course, now we find that the most important hospitality asset, the most important economic development asset that we have in this city is the Carolina Panthers. They just are. And the issue here is, how is it that we're going to be able to work as a community to be able to fund the types of improvements necessary that we're going to need to be able to continue to be able to grow our hospitality industry, to give entrepreneurs and other folks the opportunity to be able to plug in, start businesses, create restaurants, have wonderful hotels? How are we going to do that? Well, one person alone couldn't do that. So as a community, there was a choice on behalf of the hospitality industry to say, hey, look, we believe that these funds are important to be able to grow these assets. Well, okay, but how are they going to be managed? The city has oversight only approving the final deal. The Charlotte Regional Visitors Authority is the authority that ultimately decides what happens with those funds. Now, between you and me, if it was me, I would not want the city of Charlotte to sign off on this at all. But this is the current deal that we have. So the CRVA, the Charlotte Regional Visitors Authority, helps make deals with these folks, and they help manage these hospitality dollars. And then those dollars are then suggested for approval or rejection by the city council. I think the Charlotte City Council more than likely is going to sit there and say, okay, we want to tweak the deal and do a couple of things, but they're going to approve it. And you know why? Because the deal as it's set improves only the facility. And the money that's going to go into improving that facility is going to go to local contractors, it's going to go to local engineers, it's going to go to local architects, it's going to go to local people. And that's the commitment that I think the city is hopefully going to make the Panthers organization and Tepper Sports Entertainment be able to do. And Tepper Sports Entertainment has been all about that. They've been all about local. And you got to give them a lot of credit there. But there's going to be a lot of misinformation coming at you, both from the left and both from the right. We've already heard from our former mayor, Jennifer Roberts, oh my gosh, that money should be used for other things. We've had other members of the city council say, oh my gosh, that money should be used for other things. Let's be clear, folks. The law says it can't be. It doesn't matter. Again, God bless our Democrats. They just want to do all the good their little hearts can desire for what they think is important, but never mind the law. Never mind the law. Law doesn't matter. Oh, it's written in a... No, the law doesn't matter. We're going to do what we want. Same Democrats, of course, that want to have the law applied to President Trump, put him in jail. But, it's let them do that. Same issue. Let's draw back to another fun little conversation that the city council had. I do believe the city council decided they were going to talk about using these types of dollars for affordable housing. And what happened? Oh, that's right. The North Carolina Restaurant Lodging Association sent them a letter saying, please don't do that. That's illegal. And they backed off. But then again, of course, a week ago, during their budget conversations, they want to start talking about using this hospitality money for the arts, right? That's not legal, but they're going to do it anyway. Why? Because, again, the Democrats, in their minds, think as long as we're doing good, the law doesn't matter. That's not true. The law has to be kept in place, and you have to make sure that what you're doing is legal. It just is what it is. And they know that it's illegal, but they're doing it anyway. Why? Because they think in their mind, as long as we're doing good, it doesn't matter whether it's legal. That can't happen. That cannot happen. So, returning back to the original point of what we're talking about, which is the Panthers deal. Me personally, I support it. I support it for a couple of reasons. The first is that the money is being managed and used only for hospitality purposes, being collected by hotels and motels and restaurants so that it can be used to help improve our stadium assets. Because make no mistake, that stadium and the shows that it throws off and all of the revenue that it creates and the opportunities that it creates for everyone to have a vibrant downtown would not happen without that stadium. Would not happen without that team. Would not happen without the Panthers. Would not happen without MLS. And the investments that are being made by the team to match the investment by the city is one of the best deals, in my personal opinion, that we've seen across the country. Across the country, you're seeing billion-dollar deals for new stadiums. Charlotte says, no, we're going to do a $680 million improvement, and you're going to match it. That's a great deal. It's a great deal for everybody. And, oh, by the way, keeps the team here for 20 years. I personally do not see a problem with that. And if you do see a problem with that, make sure you attack it on the right reasons. If you want to come after it for saying that, oh, we shouldn't be giving money to sports teams, that's fine. That's a legitimate argument. That's something that makes sense rationally. But if you're saying that, wait a minute, what are these monies supposed to be used for? What did the industry say they wanted to do? Why did the industry go to Raleigh to do this and extend this tax and be able to allow this tax to take place? It's not a tax in reality. It's an investment. It's an investment by the community into the community's assets, run by and managed by the hospitality industry. It's not a tax. It's an investment. And we are investing in the future of our businesses. It's very important that we distinguish those 2 points. And it's very important that when you're looking at this Panthers deal, that you have a real honest assessment of what's going on and what's happening. Because there's a lot locked in there, and it's really important for our community that we make that investment. It's the same argument that we always have about the airport. It's the same argument that we always have about whether or not we're going to be able to invest. Why does Charlotte invest so much in our airport? Well, it's because of American Airlines. I saw a number just the other day. They were comparing, I think it was, I want to say, I was trying to remember what city it was. It was a city in Texas. It was a city of similar size. San Antonio. When you compare Charlotte to San Antonio, same size, same assets, a lot of the same things. Charlotte has 5 times the more flights coming out of Charlotte Douglas than they do out of San Antonio. Why? Because of our partnership with American Airlines. Because it's cheaper to fly into American Airlines, into that Charlotte Douglas airport, than it is to fly to San Antonio. And we have a hub here and a wonderful corporate partner, just like we do with the Panthers. We have a wonderful corporate partner. We need to make sure we are the home of public-private partnerships. We are the home of making this work. And, of course, at the end of the day, when you're going to talk about the Panthers issue, you want to make sure that you're talking about it from a legal perspective and what is not legal and what the CRVA does and how those hospitality funds are used. And it's a very nerdy issue. I'm a tax lawyer. I'm a big dork, y'all. Just going to go ahead and tell you, there ain't nothing more dorky than this. But it's important. And it's important that you understand the legality of it and what happens with that. Because without having a basic understanding, we're not really speaking the same language. We're not really having the same conversation. We're not really making sure that we're on the same page, because we've got to make sure that those conversations are happening with factual basis and that people are following the law. All right, it's commercial break here time. We're going to come back, but when we come back, we're going to talk about a community that broke the law and how they were held accountable out over by the beach. This is WSIC. We're Just Saying with Senator Vicky Sawyer. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
We'll return with more of NC Senator Vicky Sawyer, and We're Just Saying after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, how about some quiet weather to finish off the work week and start the weekend? Mostly sunny. We're still warm with high temperatures in the mid-80s today, but it's feeling better. You'll be able to notice that difference when you step outside. That low humidity is arriving and really makes all the difference. Under a clear sky tonight, low humidity helps us fall off into the low 60s to kick off the weekend for your Saturday. Mostly sunny and warm. It feels good outside. Plenty of sunshine. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The Statesville Family YMCA reminds you that older adults and those with chronic health conditions don't need to feel they must accept impaired balance and limited mobility. Build strength, improve balance, and gain confidence in your mobility through the Moving for Better Balance program. For questions and additional information, email C. Mullins at ymcanwnc.org.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Parents can find a quality classical Christian education at Headwaters Academy. For more information, the phone number is 704-876-1520.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. A captive audience for ads. Dow Jones says United Airlines has started showing commercials on its plane's seat back screens that are personalized. Passengers get pitched based on factors such as age, hometown, favorite destinations, and whether they're flying first class or economy. United flyers watching in-flight movies and TV shows now see ads while scrolling options, then have to watch a half-minute commercial before the selected entertainment begins. Anyone on Wall Street hoping for a Fed Reserve interest rate cut next month has dashed hopes today, but not for the worst reason. It follows the latest look at the U.S. job market from the Labor Department, finding a far stronger than forecast jump in job creation last month. 272,000 jobs added. That's 92,000 above forecasts. Unemployment ticked up to 4%, but so did average hourly earnings, up a hotter than expected 4.1% year over year. Wall Street's indexes right now higher. Dow gaining 0.5%, NASDAQ up 1/10, S&P up 0.25%. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
It's We're Just Saying with North Carolina Senator Vicky Sawyer on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Hello and welcome to We're Just Saying with Senator Vicky Sawyer and WSIC 105.9 FM, 100.9 FM, 1400 AM. Studio phone number 844-STUDIO-4. You can always stream live on WSIC past episodes and, of course, everything else. Now, if you want to have a comment or you want to call in, you feel free to do that. But we're going to keep talking here. We're going to keep having that. My name's Larry Shaheen. I'm your guest host for today. Senator Sawyer is out. Again, my opinions are my own. Please don't get after her for it. I mean, it is what it is. She asked me to do this, and I like doing it, and I'm happy to do it. But just make sure that you understand that these are my own opinions and not my clients. Don't bug them; they get enough. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's funny because we were just sitting here talking about what is and what is not legal, and whether or not folks in government want to follow the law. It's always been really interesting to me to see that we're talking about what local, city, and state government can do and how it impacts you. Well, let's talk about something that, of course, hits everybody. Schools. School calendar. It's a big issue. It's a big, very controversial issue. It's an issue that a lot of people love to talk about. But in North Carolina, luckily, because we have a fantastic tourism industry who makes sure that we provide kids with summer break, there's a law built in that says that your schools have to start at a certain day and have to end by a certain day. Why do they do that? Well, of course, it's the fact that local government doesn't like to follow the law. The local government likes to break the law. Local government likes to do whatever they think is best. And I'm going to tell you something. Good government is usually the government that's best for you or that's closest to you, but they don't always take what's best for you into mind. I will tell you, as someone who has an extensive amount of experience with local government, oftentimes people think that it's going to be like some drama that you see on television, or that it's going to be like sexy and fun. I'm going to tell you something. It's more like Park and Rec. on a regular basis. I mean, it's more like Park and Rec mixed with The Office. And in some cases, as in the case of Taiwo Jaibo, who used to be City of Charlotte's planning director, went up to the city of Greensboro, then it's like an episode of Cops, because, I mean, he did get, he had gotten in some trouble for some sexual assault violations and other things. But I mean, when you're talking about what goes on in local government sometimes, you know who they listen to? The loudest, most annoying. The people who they think are the influential ones, who actually are, oftentimes are not. And they don't pay attention to what the law is. They don't follow the law. Let's take a good example. Out east, North Carolina, there's a school board. This school board decided that they were going to break the law. They wanted to schedule their schools where they were denying kids their ability to do summer. That's what they wanted. They wanted to be able to have kids not go out, to be able to have them come in and out whenever they wanted. But, it just doesn't really work like that. So here's what happened. Carteret County decided they were going to start school when they were illegally allowed to do so. Break the law. Flout the law. Well, this week, a Carteret County judge told them they couldn't do that. Now, understandably, there was an uproar. It was craziness. It was, oh my goodness, how dare a judge make a school board follow the law? Isn't that funny? It's so funny. And I'm going to tell you, people, we like to complain a lot about our Democrat friends here, but, it's not just them. It's the Republicans, too. Bad government, local government, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. It's whether or not a government follows the law. Because at the end of the day, the law is there for a reason. Local government does not get to flout that. I cannot tell you how many times, I'm a land use lawyer, okay? I work for the local real estate folks. I work for a lot of real estate folks. I see a lot of local government folks. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was up in Raleigh testifying about this very issue. And I'm going to tell you what local government folks tell me on a regular basis. Sue me. They will do something illegal, look you square in the face, and say, sue me. Why? Well, it's because they know no one really wants to. Because nobody wins then. Because the cost of a lawsuit's borne by the individual who brings the lawsuit. You ruin the relationship with the city or the county or the town or the school board, and you wind up forcing them to follow the law. But sometimes, the juice ain't worth the squeeze for a lot of these folks. So why do these associations exist? Why are there so many of these associations whose job it is to represent the industry? Well, it's because we need people fighting for you. And that's what these groups do. They fight for you. They fight for you. They fight for your business. They fight for you to be able to deal with cities and counties in a legal way. Now, I have to tell you, I have a lot of folks who I know that work in city and county and state government. They're fantastic people. They are wonderful people, and they have the best intentions, and they try unbelievably hard to get what they can, to do the best job they can for their local community. But then there's some who are drunk on power. And that's what happens. They get drunk on power. And when they get drunk on power, what winds up happening is that they want to tell the person in front of them, doesn't matter who it is, they want to tell the person in front of them, you're going to do what I tell you. Doesn't matter what the law says. You're going to do what I tell you. And you know what that's called? Totalitarianism. That is a dictatorial attitude. And that's the kind of activity that needs to be rooted out and destroyed. And thank God for the business owners of Carteret County who are willing to take on their local school board and say, you are going to destroy our businesses. You are going to negatively impact our businesses because you are breaking the law. It's not hard. It's not hard. There it is in the books. There it is right there. And you know what? Shame on their lawyer. Shame on their lawyer. His malpractice should be sitting here paying for this lawsuit because the good taxpayers of Carteret County are the ones who are going to have to foot the bill for their folks breaking the law. Think about that for a minute. Think about the fact that when a local unit of government decides that they are going to break the law, the taxpayers are the ones who pay the consequences, not the local government. That is unconscionable. And you know what? I mean, no one wants to put more penalties on it. Nobody wants to do. But again, it's that same principle. Local government has to follow the law. We were talking about masks earlier. We talked about hospitality dollars. Now we're talking about school calendars. Why are we seeing this pandemic of people who don't want to follow the law? Well, I think it's a lot of frustration. And I think our country is frustrated with how hard it is to change the law, how hard it is to get things done, how difficult it sometimes is to be able to make change. But let's not forget, we have a process for a reason. And if you're not willing to go through the process to try and change the law or try to change the way things go, what's the point? What's the point? If you're just going to sit there and complain and not get involved, then there's no point to it. But the folks who want to change the school calendar law, that's the North Carolina School Board Association, this local school boards, all these people, they've been told time and time again, no, we don't want you to do that. But what do? Instead of accepting that that's the way things are and that the law is the way the law is and respecting the law, the local elected officials, to placate the loudest parts of our communities who are on the furthest fringe on either side, are willing to break the law. We just can't do that. And this is bipartisan. This isn't something that's one side or the other. It's the concept of the respect and sanctity of the law. And that's one thing that I think that we always forget about. We always forget about the concept that, hey, wait a minute. A concept where the law applies equally to everybody. And let's not forget, it was the Democrats that pushed discrimination, indoctrination, and inequality. That's what DEI actually does. It doesn't actually deal with diversity, equity, or inclusion. It just, helps promote the folks. If you're Jewish in this country, God forbid that you actually have an opinion. Someone's going to come after you. But, it's the same concept. It's that same concept. It's amazing to me. You look at these college campuses, and luckily we have a great college campus here at UNC Charlotte. But, God, they took the American flag down at UNC Chapel Hill, my alma mater. And why? Because they don't want us following the law. They want to be able to do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, for whatever reason. And it's both sides. It's the furthest right and the furthest left. And you know what? It's that concept. Let's talk about what that means. So of course you talk about the cost, you talk about the concepts, you talk about everything else. Why is it that we have to sue local government to get them to follow the law? We need to be electing folks to government who are saying, no matter what, I will follow the law. Doesn't matter what your race is, doesn't matter what your political belief is, doesn't matter what, no, I will follow the law. And if I want to change the law or do something that is currently not allowed, I'm going to go fight to change that law. But if I'm not going to be able to change that law, I have to respect it. Because that's the only way our country governs. It's the only way it works. And what that means is that we need people who have the courage and the temerity and the ability to say, we are going to put the resources in that are necessary to change the law. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're not going to be able to do it legally, if you're not going to be able to do it through the legislature, and you, school board, Carteret County, decide, we're just going to break the law, people are going to come for you. And you know what? That's the message that needs to happen here, the rest of the state. The rest of the state and their local units of government need to respect the idea that when law is set up in Raleigh, that's it. And we're not going to go about changing it. And we're not going to sit here and fight with you about it. You're just going to stop breaking the law. All right. When we come back, we're going to take a commercial break here real quick on We're Just Saying WSIC. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's going on, local news roundup, maybe a couple of sports things, and we're going to give you a little bit of ideas of what you're going to see in your elections coming up in 2024. Stay with us.
Stay with us. We'll have more of We're Just Saying with NC Senator Vicky Sawyer after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, how about some quiet weather to finish off the work week and start the weekend? Mostly sunny. We're still warm with high temperatures in the mid-80s today, but it's feeling better. You'll be able to notice that difference when you step outside. That low humidity is arriving and really makes all the difference. Under a clear sky tonight, low humidity helps us fall off into the low 60s to kick off the weekend for your Saturday. Mostly sunny and warm. It feels good outside. Plenty of sunshine. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. The Ben Gatlin Band performs 2 local shows beginning Thursday with Langtree Live in Mooresville on June 6th. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with the concert beginning at 7. Gatlin then offers a solo show Friday on the Brookdale Village stage with the Live Under the Oaks concert series. Back-to-back free music with Ben Gatlin beginning on Thursday at Langtree in Mooresville and then Friday at Brookdale Village in Huntersville. The popular Piedmont Healthcare Friday After 5 concert series offers free entertainment this week in Statesville. 80s tribute band Kids in America performs at 6 p.m. on West Broad Street in front of Mitchell Community College. Food and beverages will be available for purchase at 5. Bring your chairs and enjoy a night of music this Friday in downtown Statesville. The 3rd annual Dock and Rock Music Festival returns on Saturday at Waterside Bar and Grill in Catawba. Performances by Ryan Joyce, Danny Carr, Red Dirt Revelators, the Presley Layton Band, Alec Ottaway, and Feathered Roots begin at 4 p.m. on the stage and concert system powered by Waves Entertainment. We'll see you Saturday at Waterside Bar and Grill in Catawba. The Kane Center for the Arts Week 1 of summer camps begins Monday, June 10th. Morning and afternoon camps for ages 8 to 15 include ceramics, art, media, Broadway, and paint. For more information on summer camp programs, visit canearts.org. That's C-A-I-N arts.org. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series is back at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 10-week series opening night race is on Monday, June 10th, and night 2 following on Tuesday, June 11th. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets, details, and information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Now more We're Just Saying with North Carolina Senator Vicky Sawyer on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Oh, I want to let that run for a minute. Just let that run for a minute. We got to have a... See, we need more bluegrass. We need more bluegrass up here in North Mecklenburg. We got to figure out a way to do that. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we got to figure that out. Maybe some tourism dollars to get some more bluegrass up here in the North Mecklenburg community. Hello, Larry Shaheen here, guest in for Vicky Sawyer. We're Just Saying, WSIC 105.9 FM, 100.9 FM, 1400 AM, streaming live on the WSIC app. Please make sure to download the news app today, available on iPhone and Google Play. WSIC Local starts here. Thank you all so much to our radio listeners as well as the live stream viewers that have remained having to deal with me for this hour. You know, it's always appreciative when folks are being willing to listen to local news. And, you know, we were going to do that. That was actually one of the things I wanted to focus on here in this last segment was the importance of local news. I mean, it's just, gosh, it is just wild to me. When you think about that, you know, I mean, think about this for a minute. When you go back to thinking about local news, God bless, it seems more and more like we are seeing a news desert. Like a desert. Do we have a desert? Do we have any real interesting like wind rustling through the plains and just all kinds of craziness that's going to happen here? I mean, you never know. I mean, it just is what it is. But you know, you sit here and you think about the fact that here locally, let's talk through our local news, our local news roundup. You got your broadcast media. Gosh, I don't know if anybody's ever been online, if you've ever seen that video where it's like 40 different news stations all owned by the same group, and they're all saying the same stupid talking points. We've got nationalized news now. You ever think about that? You ever think about the fact that all of our news has been nationalized? I mean, my goodness. You think about the fact that you've got maybe 5 major networks, and then you've got a couple of folks, and the way it's structured is you've got these ownership structures for these broadcast television stations. And I mean, you've got Sinclair, local ones, Bayheckle, you've got a couple others. And I mean, it's like, you know, are we really that good with that? Are we that good with national groups that don't have any accountability to the locals owning all of this? I don't know. Because I struggle with that, you know, and I'd be really interested to hear what the viewers think about this because, gosh, you know, I'm a big business guy, right? Like I believe in the ability of business to do well, but I also believe that we have inside of our ecosystem in terms of business, we have a natural tendency for all business, that includes media, to consolidate. Why? I'll be darned if competition ain't hard. It is. And I mean, but you look at it and you think about it, like it's funny because when you think about it, they're about to approach a deal. Think about this from media, okay? Just kind of think about this. The billions of dollars that people are paying for NFL coverage. The new deal that the NFL is coming up with. What's happening? Oh my gosh, they're getting sued. There's a $25 billion lawsuit out there that would require that the NFL not do one deal with everybody, but that each team do a local deal. Interesting. I'm not sure what I think about that. I'm really not, because you know what? Again, you talk about the news roundup, you talk about what's going on. I mean, thank God for Joe Bruno and WSOC and David Hodges and Nick Oshner over at WBTV. We've got a lot of really fantastic reporters, over all over our ecosystem. You've got here locally, we've got there's a couple of folks that you need to be paying attention to. We got a really, really great local folks. But I mean, start here at WSIC. You got WSIC. You got more legislators talking to you here at WSIC than anybody else. I mean, that's news straight from the source. That's good news. You got Cornelius Today. You got Business Today. God bless him. Dave Yoakum does a great job. But that's it. For Lake Norman, for local news coverage on Huntersville, Cornelius, Davidson, Mooresville, Statesville. That's it. And God knows the people here try to give you as much news as possible, but my goodness, it's just hard to find out what's going on. And then you go to Charlotte. You got the Charlotte Ledger, Tony Messia. He does a fantastic job. You got Steve Harrison at WFAE. He does a fantastic job. But, I think about the reporters that have come and gone. God knows I miss a bunch of them. But, Joe Bruno, if it's not for the folks, then you got Hunter Sains at WSOC. He does a great job. You got a couple of the investigative reporters at a couple of different places. But this is where I wonder. There's not really a lot of money in local news. Why is that? Why is it that we as a population don't prioritize local news? I don't know. I wonder about that because, they talk about these sports deals and how big a deal they are. They talk about these media packages, the fights over the dollars that are involved with college sports and all this. Why aren't we paying more attention to local? Why? Why don't we get? I have a theory. It's a very God. It's almost a conspiracy theory. Bring the UFO sounds in. Come on. Oh my God. But I almost have a theory. Ancient Rome. What happened? Talk about distractions, right? You talk about the things that don't matter. God bless sports, man. I'm a sports guy. I grew up playing football, baseball, basketball. Was a varsity athlete in college. I don't watch that much sports. I really don't. I used to play it. I don't. But you know why? It's because I'm not participating. I wonder if we have engendered a spectator sport mentality and a less of an activist mentality. Local groups like Kiwanis, the Chamber of Commerce, these groups, they're dying. It's hard to recruit people to be involved in those organizations. Why? Well, one, families are busy, okay? Leave the families out of it. Families are out. The older generation whose job it is to be more engaged and more involved, as well as the folks who are, my age. I'm 40, right? I just turned 40. God, just turned 46 months ago. Jeez Louise, I am getting old here, brother. I got to tell you, man, there's too much gray in this beard. But where are our activists? Not our activists, God bless them, the crazy people. There are crazy people on either side of that. We talked about that today, how crazy people are driving policy. But it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to get engaged. It's hard to be involved, but it's worth it. You know why? Because you got to be informed. Otherwise, you're going to be misinformed. And that's where I think we are. I think we've gotten to a place where New York and Los Angeles control our national news. And there has been no time in the history of this country that news media has been more distrusted. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I know a lot of these people. They are smart, capable, intelligent. They're like most of the government staff. They are smart, capable, intelligent, and they want to do the right thing. They want to do the right thing. They want to be the best version of what they do that anyone can come up with. But you know what? They're the bad actors. They're the ones who are trying to misinform. There are the activists on both sides that say, we're going to slant the news. We're going to make it so that you don't know what's going on. God, it's terrible. It's just terrible. And it's going to impact our elections. It's going to impact our government. I have never in my life seen a situation where to get through a primary, imagine this, to get through a primary, you have to actively denounce and say how bad the other side is. Not that their policies are bad, because they are. We could attack their policies. Not that what they're going to do is going to create problems for the economy. Not any real rational reason. It's that person over there is going to destroy the country. Well, 90% of the people on the other side of the aisle are not really trying to destroy the country. You know why they live here too. But the news media would tell you that they're going to destroy democracy. It's not. That's not true. I spent 8 years as a political consultant, electing people to office. You want to know the number one issue I've heard on both sides from everybody? How do we make this work? How do we make this work? But what they're confronted with are an electorate of individuals who don't want it to work in primaries. 7% of our population, 7%, is determining the entry level for politics at the primary level. And it's being driven by news media on either side that is more concerned with clicks, more concerned with distractions, more concerned with a lot of this. And you know, it's funny, it's that Taylor Swift song, right? It's like, what is it? What is it? It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Well, it's us. It's us. It's us. If you really want to look, if you are sitting at your house and you are wondering where the problem is in the electorate, and you haven't called or talked to a local commissioner, you have not called and talked to your county commissioner, you have not called and talked to your local legislator, and you are just trusting what the news is telling you, and you're not getting engaged and getting informed and getting news from multiple sources and being more focused on what's happening here in your community than what's happening 400 miles away somewhere else or 1,000 miles away somewhere else, you are the problem. And you want to know why? Because I promise you, if you walk out your door and find any nonprofit that you care about and help them raise money, you will do more good in that opportunity than you ever will trying to pay more attention and be at. Because I'm going to tell you, don't give to national folks, give local. Don't get engaged in national causes, give local. Be engaged locally. Because what we need in this country is a devolution of power, both from Washington and from our business centers, Los Angeles and New York. Now, I'm going to leave you with this. This is some news that I really enjoyed and with how it's going to play into the next election. Texas has started a stock exchange. You believe that? Texas is starting a stock exchange, and their message, we are going to take you on, New York. We are going to take you on, NASDAQ. And that needs to happen. We need more of that. Because with due respect to the communists in New York and LA who think that they get to decide what goes on in this country, I got a message for you. No, sir. Your policies have failed. And I don't need to show anything other than the numbers of people moving from your communities to our communities. Because we here in North Carolina, we found the magic bullet. We know how to make things work. And the rest of the country has figured that out too. So with all due respect to those folks who think there are corporate overlords or our government overlords in Washington, D.C., New York, and L.A., I'm going to tell you something. The best solutions to all your problems are not going to come from your cities and your counties and your places. They're going to come from places like North Carolina. You need to look to policies here, and thank God for folks like Senator Vicky Sawyer and the rest of her folks in the General Assembly for keeping North Carolina on track. We are coming to the end of our show. I'm very sorry you had to listen to me for so long. I really hope everyone enjoyed it. This is We're Just Saying on WSIC. Hope to see you again soon.
Better than ever before. 105.9, 100.7. WSIC, Statesville, Mooresville, North Charlotte.